Captain Sarah Chen stood at attention in the gleaming ceremonial hall of the Vraxian Alliance's flagship, trying to maintain her diplomatic composure. Before her, displayed in holographic detail, floated the image of the VSS Stormweaver, once the pride of the Vraxian fleet, now a broken hulk of twisted metal and dead systems. High Commander Zextal's 4 arms moved in the formal patterns of the gift-giving ceremony, his scaled skin reflecting the soft purple lighting of the chamber. In recognition of humanity's acceptance into the Vraxian Alliance, we present you with this vessel of our fleet. His upper lip twitched slightly, a tell that Sarah had learned meant barely concealed amusement. The Stormweaver had taken a direct hit from a Nexus torpedo during the Battle of Centauri Prime. Its quantum core was completely shattered, rendering its advanced systems useless by Vraxian standards. To them, gifting such a ship was practically an insult, a test to see how humans would react to receiving damaged goods. The Stormweaver's quantum matrix suffered catastrophic failure. Zextal continued, his secondary eyes blinking in what Sarah recognized as barely concealed condescension. While the ship is beyond our ability to salvage efficiently, perhaps humanity might find educational value in studying its remains. Sarah walked slowly around the hologram, her trained engineer's eye taking in every detail of the damage. Where the Vraxians saw a ruined quantum core, she saw possibilities. The basic structure was sound, the hull mostly intact. Most importantly, the Vraxian quantum technology, while incredibly efficient, had one critical weakness. It was an all-or-nothing system. "We accept this generous gift with gratitude," Sarah said, keeping her voice level. "Earth Defense Force will ensure the Stormweaver serves with honor once again." Zextal's primary eyes widened slightly. "Captain Chen, perhaps I should be more direct. The quantum matrix cannot be repaired without technology centuries beyond human capabilities. The ship will never fly again." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "Perhaps not as a Vraxian vessel, High Commander. But humans have a long history of turning others' trash into treasure." Within hours, Sarah had assembled her team in the massive cargo bay, where the Stormweaver now rested. Dr. Marcus Wong, Earth's leading expert in hybrid tech integration, circled the quantum core housing with his scanners. Lieutenant Emma Patel, the best systems engineer in the fleet, was already sketching designs on her tablet. "They think we'll strip it for parts," Sarah told her team. "The Vraxians can't imagine any other use for a ship without quantum systems, but we're going to prove them wrong. We're going to rebuild this ship our way." "The quantum core is toast," Marcus confirmed, looking up from his scanner. "But the physical architecture around it is intact. We could retrofit it with our fusion drive technology." Emma's fingers flew across her tablet. "The power distribution networks are similar to what we use, just more advanced. We can adapt them to work with our systems. It won't be as elegant as their quantum tech, but it'll work," Sarah finished. "And that's what matters. Humanity didn't get to the stars by having the most advanced technology. We got here by making do with what we had and never giving up." The team worked through the night, mapping systems and drawing up plans. Where Vraxian technology demanded quantum perfection, human engineering would provide robust redundancy. Where alien systems required crystalline precision, Earth technology would offer flexible adaptability. As Sarah watched her team work, she thought about the Vraxians' dismissive attitudes. They saw humanity as primitive, barely worthy of joining their alliance. This ship would prove them wrong. Not because humans could match their technology, but because humans could think differently, adapt, and overcome. "Dr. Wong," she called out, "how long until we can start the retrofit?" Marcus looked up from his work, a gleam in his eye. "With a full engineering crew, 2 months for the basic systems, another 3 for weapons and advanced capabilities." "You have 6 weeks," Sarah said. "The Vraxian Alliance is holding war games then. I want this ship ready to participate." Her team stared at her for a moment, then broke into grins. They understood the message. This wasn't just about fixing a ship. It was about proving humanity's worth to the galaxy. As Sarah left the cargo bay that night, she paused to look back at the Stormweaver. In the darkness, she could almost see what it would become. Not a pure Vraxian vessel of quantum perfection, but a hybrid of human determination and alien technology. A symbol of humanity's greatest strength, the ability to adapt, improvise, and overcome. The Vraxians had given them this ship as a joke, a diplomatic slight wrapped in ceremony. They would soon learn that humans had a special talent for turning jokes into achievements and insults into opportunities. The massive hangar echoed with the sounds of construction as Earth's finest engineers worked on the Stormweaver. 3 weeks into the retrofit project, Dr. Marcus Wong stood in what used to be the quantum core chamber, now transformed into a hybrid power distribution hub. Holographic displays showed a complex web of human and Vraxian systems interweaving in ways never attempted before. Lieutenant Emma Patel's voice crackled over the comm. "Marcus, we've got a problem with the power coupling on Deck 7. The Vraxian conduits are rejecting our plasma flow." "On my way," Marcus replied, grabbing his toolkit. As he navigated through the ship's corridors, he marveled at the transformation taking place. Where once crystalline quantum pathways had carried energy and information, now ran robust human-designed conduits alongside salvaged alien tech. He found Emma standing before an open panel, her face illuminated by the soft glow of diagnostic equipment. The interface between human and Vraxian technology sparked occasionally, like oil and water refusing to mix. "See." Emma pointed to the junction. "Their systems are designed to handle quantum state energy. Our plasma-based power just causes feedback loops." Marcus studied the problem, turning it over in his mind. The Vraxians would have simply replaced the entire system. But humans had learned to adapt. "What if we don't try to force them to work together?" he mused. "What if we let them stay separate but coordinate them?" His fingers flew across his tablet, sketching a new design. "Look, we install a buffer system here. It doesn't try to make the two technologies compatible. Instead, it acts as a translator between them." Emma's eyes lit up as she understood, like a technological interpreter. The Vraxian systems keep thinking they're handling quantum energy, while our systems maintain their normal plasma flow. The buffer handles the conversion. Across the ship, similar innovations were taking shape. Captain Chen had given the engineering teams unprecedented freedom to experiment, and they were making the most of it. Where Vraxian design called for perfect quantum synchronization, humans introduced redundant backup systems. Where alien technology demanded crystalline precision, Earth engineering provided flexible alternatives. In the weapons bay, Lieutenant Commander James Rodriguez was tackling another unique challenge. The Stormweaver's original weapon systems had been quantum-linked, allowing for perfect targeting synchronization. Without the quantum core, that advantage was lost. "So we improvise," James told his team. "We can't match their targeting precision, so we go wide. Multiple targeting computers, each running independently. If one fails, the others pick up the slack. It's not as elegant as their system, but it's more resilient." The ship was becoming something entirely new. Neither human nor Vraxian, but a hybrid that captured the strengths of both. The Vraxian quantum technology, where still functional, provided incredible efficiency. Human engineering filled the gaps with robust, adaptable systems that could be repaired and modified on the fly. Captain Chen visited daily, watching her team's progress with growing pride. During one inspection, she found Dr. Wong singing an old Earth song as he worked on power distribution calculations. "You seem cheerful," she observed. Marcus looked up, grinning. "You know what I realized, Captain? The Vraxians think technology only advances in one direction, toward more complexity, more precision, more quantum integration. But humans? We know better. Sometimes the best solution is the simple one." He gestured to his latest modification, a mechanical backup system for the ship's critical functions. "If everything else fails, you can literally hand crank these systems back online." The Vraxians would consider it primitive. I consider it insurance." Sarah smiled, remembering the dismissive looks from the Vraxian engineers. They couldn't understand why humans would waste time installing backup systems and redundancies. In their view, if a system was perfect, it needed no backup. But humanity had learned harsh lessons about the price of depending on perfect systems. Every backup, every redundancy, every primitive mechanical override represented centuries of hard-won wisdom about how things could go wrong and how to survive when they did. As the work continued, word spread through the Earth Defense Force about the unprecedented project. Some called it a fool's errand, trying to match Vraxian technology with human engineering. Others saw it as a symbol of humanity's approach to the galaxy, taking what others discarded and finding new ways to make it work. The Vraxian observers who occasionally visited tried to hide their disdain, but their body language betrayed them. To them, this hybrid approach was like trying to upgrade a quantum computer with stone tools. They couldn't see that humanity's primitive solutions often proved more durable than their elegant but fragile quantum systems. As the 6-week deadline approached, the Stormweaver began to take on its new identity. Its hull now bore both the sleek lines of Vraxian design and the practical additions of human engineering. Inside, quantum technology worked alongside fusion power, each system complementing the other in ways their original designers never imagined. The ship was no longer the pure quantum vessel the Vraxians had intended, nor was it a purely human construct. It had become something new, a testament to humanity's greatest gift to the galaxy, the ability to find new paths where others saw only dead ends. The day before the Vraxian War Games, Captain Sarah Chen stood on the bridge of the transformed Stormweaver. Where once crystalline quantum interfaces had dominated the command center, now stood a hybrid of human and alien technology. Holographic displays powered by Earth computers floated alongside salvaged Vraxian sensor arrays, creating an interface unlike anything in the galaxy. Final systems check complete. Lieutenant Emma Puddle reported from her station. All hybrid systems are functioning within parameters. It's not pretty, but it works. That had become the unofficial motto of the project. The Stormweaver would never match the pure quantum efficiency of a Vraxian vessel, but it had gained something else: adaptability. Every system had backups. Every critical component had manual overrides, and the entire ship could be reconfigured on the fly. Dr. Marcus Wong emerged from the engineering section, his uniform stained with coolant from last-minute adjustments. The buffer systems are holding steady. The Vraxian power conduits are playing nice with our fusion core. Most of them, anyway. Sarah nodded, walking the bridge perimeter. The past 6 weeks had been a crucible of innovation and determination. Her crew had worked miracles, finding ways to merge technologies that were never meant to interact. But tomorrow would be the real test. Captain James Rodriguez called from Tactical. "I finished programming the combat scenarios. Want to see something interesting?" He brought up a tactical display showing simulated battle conditions. "Watch what happens when we lose primary power." The display showed the Stormweaver taking a critical hit. Where a Vraxian ship would have gone dark, their hybrid systems shifted seamlessly through 3 layers of backups. Power levels dropped, but the ship remained operational. In a normal Vraxian vessel, losing the quantum core means losing everything, James explained. But we've got fusion backup, chemical backup, and if all else fails, those hand-cranked emergency systems Dr. Wong insisted on installing. We can't die from a single hit. Sarah allowed herself a small smile. The Vraxians valued perfection in their technology, but humanity had learned different lessons. On Earth, survival often meant embracing imperfection and finding strength in redundancy. A gentle vibration ran through the deck plates as the fusion core cycled up. The feeling was different from the whisper-quiet operation of quantum drives, but it carried its own reassurance. This was human engineering at work, not flawless, but reliable. "Message from Vraxian Command," Emma announced. "High Commander Zextel requests visual confirmation that we're withdrawing from tomorrow's exercises, given our current state of disrepair." The bridge crew exchanged knowing looks. The Vraxians still couldn't believe they'd actually tried to repair the ship, let alone succeed. They were about to learn an important lesson about underestimating human determination. "Put him through," Sarah ordered, straightening her uniform. The holographic display flickered to life, showing Zextel's scaled face. All four of his eyes widened as he took in the active bridge behind her. "Captain Chen," he said, his translator struggling to convey his mix of surprise and concern. "Surely you don't intend to field that hybrid construct in tomorrow's combat exercises. The safety implications alone." "The Stormweaver has passed all standard safety protocols," Sarah interrupted smoothly, "both human and Vraxian. We look forward to demonstrating her capabilities tomorrow. But without a quantum core, we found alternatives," Sarah said simply. "Sometimes the old ways work just as well as the new. Sometimes better." After ending the transmission, Sarah turned to her crew. "Get some rest. Tomorrow we show the galaxy what happens when you give humans a challenge and tell them it's impossible." As the bridge crew prepared for shift change, Dr. Wong approached her with a tablet. "Captain, I've been analyzing the Vraxian battle data from previous war games. They always follow the same patterns: perfect formations, textbook maneuvers. They fight like their ships work, with flawless precision. And that's their weakness," Sarah finished, understanding where he was going. "They've never had to adapt to imperfection, never had to think creatively in combat." "Exactly. Our hybrid systems may not match their pure quantum technology, but they give us options the Vraxians have never considered. We can do things they think are impossible because they've never thought to try." That night, as Sarah made her final inspection of the ship, she paused in the quantum core chamber, now housing the heart of their hybrid power system. The space symbolized everything this project represented: humanity's refusal to accept limitations, their ability to find new solutions to old problems. The Vraxians had given them this ship as a diplomatic gesture, expecting it to become a museum piece or a training tool. Instead, humans had done what they did best. They'd adapted, improvised, and created something new. Tomorrow, the galaxy would see that humanity's greatest strength wasn't in having the most advanced technology, but in making the best use of whatever technology they had. The vast expanse of the Centauri training grounds stretched before the Stormweaver as dozens of Vraxian vessels took their positions for the war games. Captain Sarah Chen felt the subtle vibration of the fusion drive through her command chair, so different from the ethereal silence of quantum propulsion, but reassuring in its steady rhythm. "All Vraxian vessels have assumed attack formation Alpha," Lieutenant Rodriguez reported from Tactical. "They're laughing at us, Captain. Their calm chatter suggests they're treating this as a joke." "Let them laugh," Sarah replied, her eyes on the tactical display. "Status of our hybrid systems." Dr. Wong's voice came through clear from engineering. "Fusion core at 98%. Buffer interfaces holding steady. All redundancy systems online and ready." The first challenge would be a simulated combat scenario: 3 Vraxian cruisers against the Stormweaver. In theory, it was a simple exercise. In practice, they were about to attempt maneuvers no one had ever tried with a hybrid vessel. High Commander Zextel's voice echoed through the bridge. "Captain Chen, there is still time to withdraw. We would understand, given your ship's unique condition." Sarah allowed herself a small smile. "We appreciate your concern, Commander, but the Stormweaver is ready for combat trials." The warning klaxon sounded, signaling the start of the exercise. The Vraxian ships moved with perfect precision, their quantum drives allowing them to execute flawless formation changes. They expected the Stormweaver to try matching their maneuvers, a contest they knew they would win. "They're targeting our power systems," Emma reported from her station. "Standard Vraxian tactic: disable the quantum core first." She grinned. "They haven't realized we don't have one to disable." "Time to show them something new," Sarah said. "Lieutenant Rodriguez, initiate pattern Omega." The Stormweaver's hybrid drives roared to life. Instead of attempting to match the Vraxians' precise movements, they did something unexpected. The ship deliberately vented plasma from its fusion drives, creating a cloud of energized particles that played havoc with quantum sensors. Vraxian targeting systems are experiencing interference, Rodriguez reported with satisfaction. They've never encountered this tactic before. Through the chaos of the plasma cloud, the Stormweaver struck. Its weapons might lack the precision of quantum targeting, but the spread pattern firing solution James had developed compensated by saturating target areas. The simulated hits registered across all 3 Vraxian vessels before they could adapt. Impact confirmed on all targets, Rodriguez announced. They're requesting confirmation of our weapons configuration. They don't understand how we could hit them through their quantum defenses. Sarah stood, watching as the Vraxian ships regrouped. Send them the data. Let them see exactly how we did it. Sometimes the best lesson is a demonstration. The next phase of the exercise proved even more revealing. When the Vraxians attempted to disable the Stormweaver systems with precision strikes, they discovered the true advantage of human engineering. Every disabled system had a backup. Every critical component had redundancies. Direct hit to primary power distribution, Juan reported during a particularly intense exchange. Switching to secondary, tertiary, manual systems engaging. We're still in the fight. The Vraxian observers were stunned. Their ships were perfect machines that either worked flawlessly or failed completely. The Stormweaver, by contrast, could take damage and adapt, like a living thing healing itself. During the final phase, Sarah unveiled their masterstroke. The Stormweaver suddenly shut down all power signatures, appearing dead in space. The Vraxian ships moved in for the kill, only to be caught completely off guard when the hybrid vessel roared back to life, its systems reconfigured in a pattern they'd never seen before. How? Zextal demanded over the command channel. Your ship's energy signature completely changed. That's impossible without quantum reconfiguration. Not impossible, Commander, Sarah replied. Just impossible for a pure quantum vessel. Sometimes the old ways combined with the new create possibilities you never considered. As the exercise concluded, the Stormweaver had achieved what the Vraxians had deemed impossible. It had proven that hybrid technology, properly applied, could match and even exceed the capabilities of pure quantum systems. The bridge crew maintained their professional demeanor, but Sarah could see the pride in their eyes. They had done more than win a simulated battle. They had demonstrated humanity's greatest strength to the galaxy. Not the ability to create perfect technology, but the ability to take imperfect pieces and forge them into something greater than the sum of their parts. Message from Vraxian Command, Emma announced, trying to suppress a grin. They're requesting permission to send engineering teams to study our modifications. Apparently, they're interested in exploring alternative approaches to system redundancy. Sarah looked around at her crew, human engineers and scientists who had accomplished the impossible through sheer determination and creativity. Tell them we'd be happy to arrange a technical exchange. After all, sharing knowledge is what allies do. The Stormweaver had entered the war games as a curiosity, a supposedly failed experiment in human presumption. It emerged as something else entirely, proof that humanity's path to the stars would be uniquely their own. 1 month after the war games, the Stormweaver's docking bay buzzed with an unprecedented mix of human and Vraxian engineers. High Commander Zextal stood beside Captain Chen, watching as Dr. Wong explained the hybrid power distribution system to a group of fascinated Vraxian technicians. I must admit, Captain, Zextal said, his 4 eyes blinking in sequence, a sign of deep contemplation. When we gifted you this vessel, we never imagined this. He gestured to where human and Vraxian technologies seamlessly intertwined. That's the thing about humans, Commander, Sarah replied. We have a habit of exceeding expectations, especially when someone tells us something's impossible. The success of the Stormweaver had sent shockwaves through the Vraxian alliance. Their military strategists were still analyzing how a hybrid vessel had outmaneuvered their pure quantum ships. Their engineers were studying the redundancy systems that allowed the ship to continue fighting even after taking devastating hits. Lieutenant Emma Patil approached with a datapad. "Captain, the Vraxian Science Council has approved our proposal. They want to establish a joint research facility focused on hybrid technology development." Sarah noticed how Zextel's scales shifted color slightly, a sign of excitement he couldn't quite suppress. The Vraxians were beginning to see that their pursuit of technological perfection had created blind spots. Human innovation was filling gaps they hadn't even known existed. "Your people's approach is unorthodox," Zextal admitted. "We build systems that cannot fail. You build systems that can fail but refuse to die." There is wisdom in both approaches. In the weeks since the War Games, the Stormweaver had become a symbol of something larger than just military capability. It represented a new way of thinking about technology and progress. The Vraxians had believed advancement meant moving only toward greater complexity and precision. Humans had shown them that sometimes the best path forward meant stepping sideways or even backward to find new solutions. Dr. Wong joined them, his hand still stained with engine grease. "The Vraxian engineers just discovered our mechanical backup systems," he said, grinning. "They couldn't believe we installed manual controls that could work without any power at all. Called it elegantly primitive. I think it was meant as a compliment." "It was," Zextal confirmed. "We are learning that simplicity can be its own form of sophistication." Around them, the docking bay had become a laboratory of cross-species innovation. Vraxian quantum specialists worked alongside human engineers, each learning from the other's perspective. The rigid hierarchy of technological advancement was giving way to something more fluid, more adaptable. "The Arcturian Defense Fleet has requested specifications for our hybrid power system," Emma reported, scrolling through her messages. "And the Centaurian Republic wants to know if we can help upgrade their older ships with similar modifications." Sarah smiled, remembering how those same powers had once viewed humanity as technological backwater barely worth noticing. "Send them the general overview, but remind them that each hybrid system needs to be custom designed. This isn't about copying technology. It's about learning to think differently about how we solve problems." As the day wound down, Sarah found herself back on the Stormweaver's bridge with Zextal. The command center still bore signs of its dual heritage, elegant Vraxian displays alongside sturdy human interfaces, each complementing the other's strengths. "We have begun modifying our engineering programs," Zextal said quietly. "Future Vraxian ships will incorporate some of your redundancy concepts. Not all problems require quantum solutions, it seems." "And we're learning from you as well," Sarah replied. "Sometimes the most elegant solution is the best one. The trick is knowing when to use which approach." The Stormweaver had started as a diplomatic slight, a broken ship given to a primitive species. It had become instead a bridge between two ways of thinking, proving that true advancement came not from choosing between tradition and innovation, but from finding ways to combine them. As the stars wheeled past the view screen, Sarah thought about the message they had sent to the galaxy. Humanity might not have the most advanced technology or the most sophisticated systems, but they had something perhaps more valuable: the ability to see possibilities where others saw only problems. "You know," Zextal said as he prepared to leave, "there is an old Vraxian saying, 'The strongest alloy is forged from different metals.' Perhaps the same is true of civilizations." Sarah watched him go, then turned back to the view of space. The Stormweaver hummed around her, its hybrid heart beating with the combined strength of two civilizations' technologies. They had done more than fix a broken ship. They had shown the galaxy a new way forward. And somewhere out there, other races were watching and learning the lesson. Never underestimate a species that refuses to accept impossible as an answer.